That's to hear. How to avoid a cult. I was told I really needed to focus on this more. I kind of rambled. First of all, even in the 21st century, we got little, right here in this town where I live, there are two, I basically call them white slavery camps. And they prey upon people that are down on their luck and alone. So when you're in that position, it happens, especially if you're the type of person that lives life. Uh, when you're alone, and it's easy to get sucked in by, especially the one conniving group. They're really, oh, they make me sick. Oh, at first they're like, oh, we want to help you. Oh, we're so nice, and we'll bring you food, and oh, you want you to come over here to our beautiful mansion on the hill? Oh, yeah. Next thing you know, the first thing is ask yourself where you're at in life. Are you vulnerable? Don't be scared because you're not going to be there forever. So when you're in that position, it really is better to not ever allow yourself to accept charity from people that, why are they being nice to you? I hate to be raw about it, but when you're in the real, when you're out there, your family's far away, you're new, don't allow yourself to be sucked into someone's fake, their little web, a little like, here's a loaf of bread, and oh, I'm going to help you. Well, the next thing you know, and this is the number one thing that they all have in common, is they're going to start trying to control you. Okay, the first conflict I had with this group was, okay, the light and the dark side is part of us. It's a side you cannot play with. You have to respect it. And it's a different kind of energy. It's a powerful energy. And if you know how to respect it and when and how to use it, like the snake totem. A lot of people have the misconception like the coyote. They are different raw primal energies that I don't tap into too much. Now the snake energy, when you need to, like when I take classes and I want to ingest a lot of knowledge, that's when I use the snake energy. I don't even remember the last time I used coyote, except maybe when I was in this particular setting, I don't know, some family setting, everybody was all down, and I wanted a little laughter, so the clown coyote, but I don't mess with that stuff much. But the first thing that this lady of this group said, well, we don't use that. And she said, and the way you talk, she started being all, and I was like, so I got up and I said, all right, goodbye. Well then, her name was Anne Marie. What a name, right? Whatever, so common. Anyways, well, Anne Marie come back. Oh, Ruthie, we really didn't mean anything, but would you come back? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I said, well, it didn't seem like I was very welcome there, and I'm not going to have anybody tell me what to believe and what I can do and what I can't do. Now, forewarned is forearmed, but if you choose to do something, I can say, hey, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, but I am not going to get all like, you better not do that around me. Like intimidating you. Oh, I don't think so. So that was the first, clue. And then they start coming to your house. That's the second thing. When they just start showing up uninvited, like Anne Marie didn't bother to call me. She just showed up out of the blue. And then, like I said, there was whole, they own this hotel here and they rent it. Well, they don't, some of the people there work for their hotel room. Oh, that's okay. You can just work for me. I mean, that's the next thing. Eventually down the line, there's always going to be control. I think that's the problem. Like everybody, a lot of people, and myself included, at one point thought, oh, if I only had $1 million. Well, this lady has tons of money, millions of dollars. She sells her rights, and but she's crazy. She's a nut job. She owns this hotel that needs bulldozed down and remodeled, but, and I guess the whole point is, first of all, ask yourself where you're at in life. And second of all, if someone just starts offering to do stuff, especially when you are, be honest about where you are at. And if you feel vulnerable, any kind of relationship's not a good idea. Just be very mindful. And when people start trying to intimidate you, like my first, like it's always that way. Your first instinct is your right instinct. When that lady got all weird and started mocking me and all weird, I should have just said, no, Anne Marie, right then and there. Don't come back. I don't want to talk to you anymore. But at that time, I still was naive enough. And that's the other thing. They do prey more on young people, but they prey on the vulnerable, the people with disabilities, people with no family. It's an ugly little nasty thing. And the nasty part is these are people with money. Apparently they don't have enough to do. They got all that money and they could really be doing good, but instead this particular lady is using people so she doesn't have to hire people. But you know what? They're bad karma. I wonder if well, it is karma time. I wonder if I'm going to hear about that hotel having some kind of accident. I haven't thought about this in years, but I was given the message to really talk about this because it is still out there, even though I know people in the regular world, they have no idea what a chaos, ugly world this still is when you're in survival. And that's another thing you don't want to focus on. When you're in those places, you can get out of them. You just have to really focus on, I am getting out of this situation. I am going to save every penny I've got. And I'm not going to allow myself to have anybody take my power. Anybody. Don't get involved in any kinds of relationships. So they're not the times in your life when you want to get involved. I mean, I'm not saying every single person on the planet is evil, but unfortunately, that's who they prey on. They prey on people who are having difficult times because they look at you as weak, as someone they can manipulate. Just because, oh, she was in an abusive relationship, so she must be easily to manipulate. Well, I got out of the relationship. I'm sorry, this just was my circumstances. The lady, and it was this woman I worked with. I worked with this woman for months, so she knew I had been going through an abusive relationship. It was just like so conniving and plotting. And that's the thing, these people don't just, it's not like they abduct people off the side of the road. It's like any other abusers out there. It's their little gig. They're obviously I don't know. I don't know what it is, except it just boils down and gets them off to have control. So remember, and don't let anybody have control because